Hey everyone, I know this is a late night video. I'm not sure when I'm going to post this, but I kind of want to have a heart to heart with you guys. And I had a question, and I don't know how to explain this. I've been watching certain videos like around things that really touch my heart, and I know I'm coming off emotional right now, so bear with me. But I had a comment of somebody in my last video when I was talking about, how I generate income from my blogs. You guys can go ahead and watch that video, but it's from Happy Cow Girl 32. She says, "Great video. One important question, please. Where do you get trending and viral ideas for your article topics, such as discipline article? Do you use Google Trends or something similar?" And I kind of like I hate to say this, but I was watching videos earlier, and man, it hurts my heart when I see stuff like this. But I saw videos of like people who are like this guy who was like 40 years old, 45 years old, and he's like living in his car, and like some other guys like living in his car, and people are going homeless, and they're putting their faith in certain business models that they're trying to cash out on. You know, their whole lifestyle, their whole I don't know what you want to call it. They're living this life where they're getting little output in a lot of the jobs and the things that they have. And then they're looking for this one avenue that's going to completely be a life changer. And like just based on that question, I know you're not I know the girl who's asking that question, her name is Happy Cowgirl. I know for sure she's not thinking like this. But a lot of people have this mentality is like, when I'm going to find this huge breaking point? When am I going to find this thing that turns me from zero to hero, from, like making my 2 grand a month job, all the way to like making 70 grand a month. And that experience for most people doesn't happen. It doesn't, and it never happened to me either. I never had this moment where all of a sudden I went from zero to $55,000 a month. It never happened like that. It's a gradual buildup, and I answered her question because she was, like I said, she was asking me question about my blogs, and I said in my last video how my blog websites, which are my article websites, they're the things that are my actual like job. It's the thing that I rely on every day. It's the thing that I work on every day. And I've been working on it since the past 7 years. After I sold my business, that's the thing that was the main thing for me. Of course, I had other things that I dabbled in, some little side businesses that I sold, which I don't really call them businesses. You can call them hustles, you can call them side projects. I wouldn't call them businesses. But they were little, fun little projects that I worked on. But for me, I never chase the trend. I never chase the trend. I never look for that peak or that home run, as I say. For people who've seen my print on demand videos, which are pretty much almost my whole channel is print on demand, you guys, I hope you guys know this about me, is that I never look for that thing that's going to be the knockout or the thing that's the home run. And what I mean by that is, like I've said this in past videos, but if I was to draw a chart right now and I would show you guys what a trend is, trends look like this. Like, imagine this search volume represents 10, right? And sorry for my handwriting, but this is a powerful message. And if I could help you guys look at things this way, I feel like we would have less problems in the world almost. And I didn't learn it. My dad taught me this. This is not something I came up with. My dad taught me this, and my dad is a very logical, balanced person. He was never a rich man, but he's a very, very wise man, and he lived a very hard life, and this is what he taught me. And I take the same approach to every business model. And I know I sound emotional, I sound weak and stuff, but just bear with me, guys, right? So trends are like this, right? They're maintaining a certain kind of like demand, a very, very low demand, right? So if 10 was like low and 300 was like high, right? and then you have ultra high, which is probably like, let's just say, I know this graph is not drawn to scale, but like let's just say 700, right? All of a sudden trends go like this. Boom, right? And this could be in a period of days to weeks. Okay? Days to weeks. Sorry about my handwriting. But then what happens is a trend pretty much falls relatively quickly. And then it's back to that normal number of sorry about that. I thought I saw something like a fly or something like that. But anyways, so it falls back down to its normal number of like that 10 search demand, right? In life, everybody's trying to look for that thing that's going to blow them up, the thing that's going to take them from, like cryptocurrency, for example. In cryptocurrency, that thing that's going to take them from 0 to 4 million overnight. And don't get me wrong, it happens, but it's not probable. And I've spoken about this before. I hope you guys have watched some of my older past videos where I talk about possibilities versus probabilities. And they're two different things completely. I never go for a trend. I never go for something that I hope is going to blow up. And I never put my faith in that because consistency wins over intensity. And I think, I was just moved to make this video because I was sitting down literally minutes ago and it's 2:30 a.m. I mean, I've been working, off and on throughout the day. And I saw these videos like kept popping up my feed. And of course I clicked because I was intrigued. But there was like this old man. He must have been older, like, I don't know, maybe 60 something. Maybe he looks older than my dad, to be honest. He looks like my dad's 63. He looks like he's 69 or 68 or something like that. Like he has a full white beard. He's older and he's out of shape. He definitely can't work a job, and he's living in his car or his van or what, I don't know where he's living, in one of his vehicles, his only vehicle. And it's old, it's busted up, and he talks about like how he does nice things and good things for people his whole life, and he tried to do crypto investing, he tried to do different business models and different things, and he hasn't earned an income, he hasn't had a job in the last 20 years. He hasn't had a job, and and he still tries to help people and this and that, but he makes no money, which I don't know how he's living. If he makes no money, like, how do you have a car? I don't know. How do you have a t-shirt on your back? I don't know. But I think the guy stopped posting like years ago, like 5 years ago. I don't know why his video came up on my feed, but it is what it is. And I'm willing to bet somewhere along the line, I could be wrong, but somewhere along the line at one point in time, that guy was probably making a consistent income somewhere in his life, right? He was somewhere here, and he was probably looking for that thing that was going to blow him up. And you can call it false expectations, you can call it media, advertising, I don't know what you can call it, but unfortunately there are people who go the wrong way in things, and I'm not blaming anyone here. This happens to all of us. It's just the society around you can literally save you or break you sometimes. And for me, like I'll tell you, my dad was a savior to me because he held me back from doing things that I shouldn't be doing, financially speaking. Like he taught me things, and I'm not going to act like I know everything. I'm not going to act like I have full control or discipline over my finances because, like I said, I rely on my dad for guidance, and he gives me a lot of advice, and I respect people who are older than me, who even younger than me. I don't really care. People who are smarter, who can give me information. And I'll be honest, sometimes I fall to the whims of my desires, my emotions, and I'm not perfect, but I see this happening too often in society. And I'll speak from a position of someone who's earned some income pretty consistently with business, is that the best thing you can do is never chase the trend. Work on things that are consistent. And I know that she was asking about articles, and I'm relating this to life, almost like an allegory to life or a metaphor to life. But in general, when you're working on businesses, or you're doing something. Let's just use print on demand. I never really chase a trend. I never really look for that thing that I'm expecting is going to blow up and search demand is going to go crazy. The slow road is the better road for me. And I mean that in every way, you know. They're cliches for a reason. People say, fast money. The faster you make the money, the faster it leaves, or something like that. There's so many examples or representations of, people who blew up and lost everything. Like gamblers, for example, who will gamble, win mega millions, win jackpots of some sort, and they'll lose all the money that they won in lotteries. Trends are just literally wasted work, in my opinion. It's very rare when something works out and it blows up. And for me, the best piece of advice I can give to anyone who is watching this, and let me just pause this real quick. And the best piece of advice, like I said, I just had to pause for a second, but the best piece of advice that I would give to anyone who's listening is when you're working on your business, and people who are listening to this video, they're probably business owners, whether it's a small business or a large business, it doesn't really matter, is focus on the next step ahead of you. Stay relatively consistent with the work that you're doing, and the results will pay off over time. And I know that's a cliche. I know that sounds crazy, but picture this with me. Let's relate this to print on demand, right? If I'm taking my ability to post, let's just say 6 designs a day. I'm not even going to say 60. At one point in time, I was uploading 60 designs to Redbubble. If you guys remember back when it was allowed, I would max it out. I still max it out. Maybe not every day, but I'm still going hard. But let's just say 6 designs a day, right? If you take your 6 designs a day, you do that every single day, right? Let me whip out a calculator here and see how many that is, because I'm not, I can't do the math right now. It's 2:30 a.m. But 365 times 6, that's 2,190 designs. This is better than being intense one day a week and producing 20 designs. Do you see what I'm saying there? Because if you pick the blow up route, and this is why people have this idea about trends. It's like people are obsessed with trends. Now, don't get me wrong, the strategy works. There's certain businesses where trends can make sense. So for example, and I just want to have like a quick deviation in the video, but for print on demand, if we're talking about a trend, like let's use Father's Day as an example. Father's Day becomes a trend on June 16th every year, and it has a gradual build up to it and then has a peak in the fall. But that's relatively evergreen because it happens every single year. That's not purely a trend because it's partially evergreen. We're talking about pure trends here. So if you're going and doing extreme intensity, right? Because this is the trend mentality, the idea that I can create one design and massively blow up from that one design and rake in the cash, then create another design, rake in the cash, right? What are you going to do? You're operating in a moment of intensity. You're not operating in consistency. You're operating in intensity. You're expecting to change your world overnight. What happens then? Well, consistency goes out the window. And you pick one day out of the week and you're going super intense, right? You are now cutting the amount of work that you're doing or the work production over time. And what happens is all the work that you've done in that moment of intensity, in search of a trend, amounts to nothing. Not because of your work is valueless. That's not why. It's because it's not in demand. It's not needed. It has no consistent search demand, right? Sorry, I had to move something off my desk. But to put things into consideration, it works the same way for my blogs. So, like I said, for those who don't know, and I know this is not something I talk about frequently, but my website with my blogs, or my websites, I have multiple blog posts for pretty much every website that I own. And not all websites are profitable immediately. Some require more effort and more work than others. Depends on the category, depends on the niche. But I'm never looking at one concept or one topic and trying to tap in to a trend, trying to make as much money as I can with a trend. I never do that. I look for something that has consistent search demand. So what do I really look for? So if I was to draw a chart, right? This is what a trend represents, and we'll draw this in green if we can, right? So this is what a trend represents. We have this, then we have a peak, and then we have a crash. And sometimes after the crash, there could be even less demand than it used to be, or somewhat the same. Either way, it's irrelevant, right? It doesn't really make a difference. A consistent search volume, right, could be either consistently growing, kind of like this. So it could start down here. It could, bounce up and down throughout the trend, or based on the current growth. And then it can have consistent growth over time. So instead of being down here, it could go here. Then it could go here, right? Then it could go here. And it has consistent growth over time. I don't know what happened there. That was a little crazy. So it can go like this. Then it can go like this, right? Then it can go like that. So you have consistent growth here. Let me go ahead and erase that little portion. And this consistent growth is great, right? It's perfect because what's happening is this is growing now over time like that. And if you're working in that way, not only in print on demand or blogging, but in your life in general, you're consistently producing, you're effectively creating this growth pattern for yourself. You're consistently growing over time. Now, then you have examples of things that don't really grow, but they have consistent search volume. Let's just say something like this, right? So something that's consistent like this. Either way, these two, 1 and 2, these two are still better than option number 3. Because option number 3 is a reflection of an individual's mentality. At least for most people. Are there special people or outliers out there? Of course there are. There are people who do trends and do evergreens and do everything in life, and they're great. They have everything handled. But we're talking about for especially the beginners, because beginners typically don't have a dichotomy of variation in their workload. They don't. They typically use one system, one strategy, and they just do all of it. And so if you use number 3 as like a representation, not only to your life, but to business in general, this is a problem. It's a problem because it reflects the individual's mentality, this blow-up mentality where I'm going to do one thing and I'm going to blow up. And if you think about it, you can relate this to, for example, being an artist. Think of it that way. If you're an artist, what's better? Is it better to have one song that blows up, or is it better to have a catalog? Well, here's the thing. If you have one song that blows up, it's not realistic that you are going to be able to maintain that growth time and time again. And also, it's not even realistic for you to be that one artist that blows up. The chance that happens is so small. And the reason why, like I said, I was emotionally hurt is because I'm seeing a guy who's, he should be retired. His wife divorced him, obviously. Well, it's not so obvious, but his wife divorced him because, she can't sustain that lifestyle. She moved in with her mom, which, is another thing on its own. But she moved in with her mom. She left him. The guy's living in a van or a SUV or whatever kind of vehicle. And he's struggling, like at the highest level, living in a car. It's heartbreaking. And I don't know if the guy's dead. I don't know what the deal is. He hasn't posted in years. I don't even remember his channel name. I wish I would have saved it. But, man, who knows? He could be dead. Honestly, I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but he could be dead. It's been I think the video was posted 5 years ago. So who really knows? But all I could say is don't fall into this trap. If you can stay consistent year after year, day after day, week after week, and achieve success with consistency, you're growing with time. And you don't need this blow up. You don't need something that's going to change your life overnight. I know it's fancy. I know it's something that's attractive. I know it's something we all probably have dreamed of from time to time. But whether it's blogging, whether it's print on demand, and just life in general, I'm not looking for something that will change me overnight, because the reality is that's not how life works. Now, people who are in a certain mentality, they don't think like that. They don't think like that's not how life works. They have a completely different ideology. They believe that that one thing will really, really change their life. And what happens is they put all their resources into it and it amounts to nothing. It's really no different than print on demand. You look at people who look for trends, they find a trend, but they've caught it too late. They create the work, they put so much effort in, and it amounts to zero. Literally zero, nothing. So, I mean, it's heartbreaking, but hopefully the people who watch this video can somehow benefit. So I wish you guys the best. I'm rambling. It's 2:45 in the morning. I think I need to go to bed. I'll see you guys soon. All right? Peace out. Bye.